Alright, this video is coming a little late for what it is, but a buddy of mine, Jesse, I was talking to him and he says, dude, you should do a Star Wars The Last Jedi review. And it's funny because I was going to do a Last Jedi review right after I saw it, like opening day. And I kind of regret not doing so, to be honest. But now I kind of felt like it had already been done to death and it might be too late, and no one's really going to care at this point. But then I started thinking that my view is a little different than what a lot of the reviews are saying. People who post about Star Wars most of them have a different view than I do. So Jesse says, do a review on Star Wars, and I'm like, I don't know. But then I'm like, yeah, I think I will. Plus, he said I was scared, so I have to. I have to do it, right? Prove that I'm not scared. So anyway, The Last Jedi. I've seen it twice now. I saw it on opening day, and I saw it about a week later. Let me start this off by saying I am a huge Star Wars fan. Huge Star Wars fan. Everything Star Wars. I love all the movies. I love all the books. I love all the animated series. I love pretty much anything Star Wars. And it's hard to get me to change my mind on that. Like, if a Star Wars is coming out, anything Star Wars is coming out, I'm really pumped to see it. Or pumped to read it. I love Star Wars canon. I love the EU. I love Old Republic stuff. Like I said, I love the animated series. I like Rebels. I like Clone Wars. I love it all. And that's why you would expect me, maybe, because a lot of people hated The Last Jedi that love Star Wars. But I, on the other hand, absolutely loved The Last Jedi. I thought it was fantastic. I sat through that movie on the edge of my seat the entire time. And honestly, that's something I haven't experienced with Star Wars in a long time. Because truthfully, the stories were beginning to repeat themselves. With The Force Awakens, you got like a reboot of A New Hope. And this movie, The Last Jedi, could have absolutely been just a copy of The Empire Strikes Back. And honestly, I was kind of worried about that, because I didn't want, 6 movies that told the same story twice, But, so the reason I love this movie is the reason a lot of people hate this movie. And that's because it was so much different, and there was so much that happened that was unexpected. And in Star Wars, that's kind of hard to come by, because you have an idea of where the story is going at all times, and it usually goes pretty much down that path. But in this one, they took everything that you could possibly think was going to happen and did the opposite. And even if you think that, that doesn't fit with Star Wars, I think that was the point, right? A lot of people were saying Rian Johnson was just trying to shit on, what Star Wars fans thought Star Wars should be. And I don't think that at all. I think he was just being creative and doing something different that people wouldn't expect. And I thought it was fantastic. I mean, God forbid someone takes a chance, right, and tries to do anything new or cool with Star Wars. I understand why a lot of people didn't like the movies, okay? Or didn't like The Last Jedi. I understand where they're coming from. Absolutely. Because not saying that I don't feel the same way, like, hey, this isn't quite what I expected, or this isn't, maybe the way we thought it should be. But the fact that it took what I thought maybe it should be and flipped it on its head, I love that. I absolutely loved that because I got to sit through this movie and be surprised the entire time. And that's what you want when you go to a movie. You want twists and turns. You want to be surprised by what you're seeing. You don't want to be able to predict everything before it happens. That's no fun. That's no fun. Going to a movie theater, being able to predict everything that happens next that's not fun moviegoing. Anyway, so I loved most things about this movie. I will tell you some of the things that I thought were a little cringy or I didn't like so much. But overall, I thought the film was awesome. Awesome. Okay, so starting out, the initial battle scene in the beginning of the movie. I thought it was awesome. And I didn't mind the comedy. I laughed out loud when Hux was being kind of teased by Poe. I thought it was hilarious, and I didn't think it was out of place. I thought it was great, and I thought it was very much in Poe's character to do something like that, from what I get from the character. The battle sequence was some of the best Star Wars battle sequence that I've ever seen in a Star Wars movie. I thought it was really awesome. And aside from what some people are upset about, the science of what can happen in space and how the bombers dropped bombs onto a ship in the vacuum of space, and they shouldn't have dropped. I don't know. Like, things like that, they don't bother me in Star Wars because it's Star Wars. It's a fantasy film. It's not meant to be super realistic. It's not Star Trek. It's not sci-fi. It's actually fantasy. And that's where a lot of people get confused. Like, the science doesn't have to be exactly on in fantasy. Okay? This is in a galaxy far, far away. A long time ago. Okay? So this is already set up in a completely I mean, who knows? Maybe physics are different. Maybe physics are different. Maybe it's a different reality. But either way, stuff like that doesn't bother me. Not in the Star Wars movies, anyway. Maybe in some of the other, like, sci-fi type movies and stuff, unrealistic things, or things that don't vibe with physics bothers me, but not in Star Wars. Not at all. I just love the storytelling. So anyway, the opening battle sequence, amazing. That was awesome. Then we get to where we see Finn waking up, and Finn meets up with Rose. I'm not going to go... Everyone has already... If you're watching this, you've probably already seen it. And you've probably already watched some other reviews. So, you know the story. But I will touch on it, but I'm not going to go every single detail. So, Rose and Finn, they team up, and they need to go find this code breaker, right? And this was the only, like, real part of the film that I did not thoroughly enjoy, was their trip to Canto Bight to find the code breaker. I didn't enjoy it. It kind of took me out of the movie. I guess it was necessary for what happens later in the film, or what's going to happen later in the series, I don't know. But it just felt weird to me. It just felt weird. I didn't love that part of the movie. I didn't absolutely hate it, but I wasn't in love with the character of Rose. She seemed kind of forced. I don't know. It was kind of weird. So that storyline, the Canto Bight storyline, I didn't really enjoy. And I know there was some messaging in there, kind of about maybe like classism or class warfare. And I got that, and I got the animal rights stuff that they threw in there. And that's another thing that doesn't really bother me in Star Wars films. I feel like they've always kind of had some kind of social message baked into the films. And I don't really care when they do that. Honestly, it doesn't bother me, and it doesn't really sway my opinion either way of the film. It's just kind of, it's neither here nor there. It's like, okay, you know, it's going to be there. It's just the way it is. And like I said, it's not enough to distract me from the film. So, anyway, didn't care for that storyline that much. So, Then there's a storyline where Poe is trying to convince everyone that, like, hey, we need to be fighting. We shouldn't be sitting back or trying to escape like this. We should be fighting back. And I don't know. It's crazy because I was on Poe. This is another thing where they put in a twist. And some people say, why didn't they just tell Poe the plan? Then he wouldn't have went through all that. Blah blah blah. It's like, well, because it's a movie, dumbass, and then there wouldn't have been a story at all. So, anyway, I thought it was good to show that, like, Poe just really caring deeply and wanting to do the right thing. Even though it wasn't really the right thing, he believed it was, and he really fought for that. And I thought it was a pretty cool storyline. One thing I did not like that was kind of cringeworthy to me, and some people loved it and some people hated it, and I didn't really hate it. It just was like, I felt weird watching it in the theater. You know what I mean? It really kind of cringy. Was Princess Leia being sucked out of the vacuum space and starting to freeze, and then coming back to life and, like, flying or floating through the air back to the ship. I don't know. I felt like they could have used that moment to have Carrie Fisher's character go out, because we know Carrie Fisher will not be returning. That would have been a good moment, I think, to have her character go out, you know, in a big moment like that. And I don't know. It was just weird. It was kind of weird to watch her floating through space like that. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of that, honestly. However, to the part of the movie that is what makes it one of the best Star Wars films there is the Kylo Ren and Rey and Luke Skywalker story, which I thought was amazing. A lot of people had complained about Luke's character and, oh, he wouldn't have done that, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no. What's cool about these movies is they almost always show, like, the power of the dark side and how much a person can be beaten into submission, and actually have doubts. And I think people took that wrong. It's like, we needed to see Luke have doubt, have fear, be kind of beaten down, and then come back. I mean, that's the whole idea of Star Wars, right? Is like, against all odds, and then you come back at the last minute and all is right with the galaxy again, right? So I didn't have a problem at all with Luke's character, and I loved the lightsaber throwing over his shoulder, and I loved, his kind of curmudgeon-y demeanor, because I think that fit. I mean, it was kind of like Yoda. It was kind of like Ben Kenobi before Luke found him. He was just this old hermit, right? So I thought it fit perfectly. Feels to me like Rey should have gotten some more training, but I like the storyline. I like that we introduced that Kylo and Rey can communicate through the Force the way they did. We're actually seeing each other. They're calling it, like, Force Skyping or something. Force timing. I don't know. But I thought that was a really cool new thing that Rian Johnson did in this film. I thought it brought a lot of kind of excitement to the film, and wondering what was going to happen next, and wondering how this power was possible and stuff. I thought that was really cool. The whole storyline with Kylo and Rey was what made the movie for me. You can see that Kylo's still conflicted. He doesn't want to kill his mother. You can tell when he's talking to Rey, he has some doubts. You know, he wants to be with Rey in some way together, but still has this loyalty to the dark side, and he's kind of torn. And then Rey, not knowing what to think of things, you know, she's struggling. I just think it's great that these characters are kind of going through the same things, but just on opposite ends of the spectrum. And when they finally come together, and are fighting back to back. That was an amazing Star Wars moment. And the best thing about it is you didn't know what was going to happen. During that fight, you didn't know, is Kylo actually going to turn? Is he actually going to be good? I don't think we thought that Rey would go to the dark side. But you did wonder. You did wonder, is Kylo now good? Is he gonna be turned to the light side? And is he gonna team up with Rey somehow and fight the Supreme Leader? Will that be the storyline now? And then they killed Supreme Leader Snoke, which a lot of people are very upset about. And there's a part of me that, like, wants there to be more to Snoke, right? But there's another part of me that was like, yes, something completely unexpected. Now no one knows where Episode 9 is going to go. They have no idea what to expect from Episode 9 because this has never happened in Star Wars, where the main baddie, the big baddie, gets killed off halfway through the series. It totally took everyone by surprise, and that's another reason I love this film. It's like, yes, what? You know, it's like, it leaves you like, what? It would be cool to know more about him, but at the same time, it's so cool that it's like, what are we going to find out about him? Well, what's it going to be? What's his background? Boom, he's dead, it doesn't matter. I love that. I loved it because it caught me off guard, and because now I have no idea what to expect going forward. And it seemed like I always kind of did. With each Star Wars movie that came out, I kind of knew where we were heading. But now I have no idea what Abrams is going to do with what Rian Johnson has done with this film, with this set of films. And that's really exciting to me. A lot of people are upset by it. I think it adds excitement, and man, it kind of blows fan theories out of the water. And it's like, it's going to be hard, I think, for people to come up with fan theories for the third act. So that's why I liked it. And then when Kylo decided, well, I just took out Supreme Leader, now I can take his place, which is the whole, goal of Sith, which I don't know if he's technically Sith, but the whole goal is to overthrow their master once they become powerful enough, and then to train their own apprentice. So I'm really excited for that storyline. I love that happened, and I love that it looked like, and you were wondering, is he gonna go good? And then all of a sudden, no, he's not. He's not gonna go good. He's now going to be the big bad, the main baddie. So I loved it. That part of the film, like that storyline, was the best thing about this movie, and I think it made the entire movie, because even though there was little parts that stuck out and I thought were like, not so great, this part made up for it, absolutely. I was blown away that Luke wasn't there at the end, that it was just him force projecting himself. I thought that was really creative. We've never seen that done before, and it was a big surprise to the audience. I mean, everyone in the theater was like, wow, you could hear the gasp in the room. It was amazing, right? Now, I know people are saying, like, I don't understand, why couldn't he have just been there? Why couldn't he have just been there if he was going to die anyway? But I think it was just to have something different in the film, and, us to see another power that is available through the Force that no one's ever talked about before. So I think it's really awesome. Anyway, I don't want to make this review too long, and I'm almost to work. We're almost on 20 minutes now, 19 minutes to be exact, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. But I love The Last Jedi, and it is a part of the Star Wars family for me. It is just as much a part of the Star Wars family as Empire Strikes Back or any of the books that I've read. I just love the film. I loved it, and I get why some people had some problems with it, but to me, those problems, the problems that I saw, were not enough to dislike the film. Anyway, that's all I have to say about it right now. If you want to leave some comments, maybe ask me some questions, I might do a follow-up video, because I know this isn't super in-depth. I kind of just brushed over the movie, but I wanted to get my opinion out there and why I felt the way I did and how how I feel about Star Wars in general. So, if you have any comments, leave them in the comment section below. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Dislike it if you did not enjoy it.